And one of the things that she advised me to do as a mortgage company, this was 2007, was to start using YouTube and video marketing. So we
Mm.
started using videos in 2007. And I'll have to tell you, Joy, I think that I don't know if you've had this happen to you, but have you ever been at a party or, you're somewhere and someone walks up to you and they know you and they're talking to you and you're thinking, how do I know them? Where did I meet them? Like you're starting to sweat a little bit because you're trying to figure
Yeah.
out how you know them. And so I would have people come into the office and they were so connected to me and they knew so much about me, but I couldn't place them. And the reality was I had never met them. They had simply watched enough of our videos that they felt like they knew me. And that was when it was like mind blowing to realize that that really is the power of video. When you talk about build, know, like, and trust, if someone's listening to this podcast and they don't like the way I speak or they don't like the way you speak, they're going to leave and go somewhere else. And that's okay,
Yes.
right? But the people who enjoy listening to us in this interview, then they're more likely to think, okay, well, I like the way they deliver information. I love the conversations that they're having. So they start to feel connected to us. And that is very, very powerful. So that was really my journey into video marketing and understanding the power of that. So fast forward a little bit, when I started really business coaching, like I said, I realized most business owners, they didn't have enough hours in the day and they struggled with lead generation. So that was really where marketing and outsourcing became the perfect marriage. And so I kind of look at myself as like the outsourcing, hiring, coaching, training expert. And then Jeannie's definitely the marketing expert.
This is Joy Roland, and you're listening to the Joyful Money Podcast. This is episode number 92, Double Your Income by Outsourcing with Kirsten Graham. Welcome to Joyful Money, the podcast where we focus on making money the joyful way. We are done with the stress and anxiety that typically come with making money. We'll feature extraordinary and inspiring business owners who are making a huge impact by sharing their gifts and talents with the world. Pour yourself a cup of coffee or tea and let's go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Joyful Money Podcast. I am super thrilled today because I have a very special guest. She is so experienced, she's so successful, and I cannot wait for you to meet her. Her name is Kirsten Graham. Welcome to the show, Kirsten.
Joy, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited about our conversation today.
Awesome. Why don't you start by introducing yourself and telling us what you do?
Sure. So my name's Kirsten Graham, and I'm the co-owner of Six Figure Business Coaching. My background is real estate, and I kind of evolved into coaching about 16 years ago. My business partner, her background is marketing. So we kind of consider ourselves marketing and outsourcing coaches because as a business coach, I saw that the biggest challenge for most business owners was actually lead generation and closing sales. And so I kind of partnered with Jeannie because she's brilliant at that. Like that's her magic. And I also realized that most business owners just don't have enough hours in the day. So we started outsourcing about 16 years ago. And then I started helping clients outsource, and we've helped, hundreds of clients outsource at this point. But we love helping our clients outsource parts of their marketing. And so just absolutely love it. I think it kind of goes into, with the whole money mindset is being able to afford the support that you need and investing your money in something that's going to have a really good return on investment.
Yes, I love that so much. And one of the things I regret, I know regret is a very strong word, but I wish I started early hiring help. I feel like it takes the frustration out of starting a business, just so I can focus on the things that gives me joy in my business. So before we delve into how you help people with outsourcing, how did all this come about? Because obviously you're very successful, you look so radiant and glamorous. How did this happen? Take us through your journey.
So Joy, I would have to say, like most entrepreneurs, it's a windy road with lots of ups and downs and hills, right? So my background is real estate. I started selling real estate. I moved to the mortgage side, eventually owned a mortgage company, owned a title company, and I did a ton of loans for self-employed people. And so they would inevitably want to take me to lunch to pick my brain. So I was kind of a business mentor for about a decade before I actually moved into paid coaching. And Jeannie was actually one of my clients. And she had called in to check out like what were the interest rates and should they consider refinancing. And I remember that in our last conversation that we had, a year or two earlier, was that she was planning to leave her job so she could stay home with her kids. And so I asked her, I said, how's it going with your new business? And she says, it's good. It's good. But like, I don't know anyone who has a business. So I'm feeling very isolated and lonely. It's so I said, well, I'm happy to meet with you for coffee. And, if I can help you, I will. And so started mentoring her. And one of the things that she advised me to do as a mortgage company, this was 2007, was to start using YouTube and video marketing. So we started using videos in 2007. And I'll have to tell you, Joy, I think that I don't know if you've had this happen to you, but have you ever been at a party or, you're somewhere and someone walks up to you and they know you and they're talking to you and you're thinking, how do I know them? Where did I meet them? Like you're starting to sweat a little bit because you're trying to figure out how you know them. And so I would have people come into the office and they were so connected to me and they knew so much about me, but I couldn't place them. And the reality was I had never met them. They had simply watched enough of our videos that they felt like they knew me. And that was when it was like mind blowing to realize that really is the power of video. When you talk about build, know, like, and trust, if someone's listening to this podcast and they don't like the way I speak or they don't like the way you speak, they're going to leave and go somewhere else. And that's okay, right? But the people who enjoy listening to us in this interview, then they're more likely to think, okay, well, I like the way they deliver information. I love the conversations that they're having. So they start to feel connected to us. And that is very, very powerful. So that was really my journey into video marketing and understanding the power of that. So fast forward a little bit, when I started really business coaching, like I said, I realized most business owners, they didn't have enough hours in the day and they struggled with lead generation. So that was really where marketing and outsourcing became the perfect marriage. And so I kind of look at myself as like the outsourcing, hiring, coaching, training expert. And then Jeannie's definitely the marketing expert. So that was kind of our journey to partnering together.
Wow, I love that so much. So then how do you help business owners with lead generation?
Sure. So we generally work with our clients on finding a marketing strategy that works for them, because again, marketing, it's not one size fits all, depending on where their audience is, depending on the types of things that they're comfortable doing. So some of our clients will either start a YouTube channel or a podcast. And so we really help them understand a strategy, especially for YouTube and SEO rich strategy. So even if they're creating a podcast with interviews, we'd also love for them to put that on YouTube to take advantage of SEO. So we really help them figure out what is the foundational piece of content they're going to create each week. And then the virtual assistant does their video editing, audio editing, all of the graphic design, finds all the B-roll. They take care of creating all of their social media posts and scheduling them. They take that same video and they can set it up to go out to that person's email list. They can transcribe that video and turn it into a proper blog post for their website and upload it. So we're really focusing on figuring out like what platforms does the client want to be on? Are they on Facebook or TikTok or LinkedIn? Like where's their audience? And then we come up with a strategy to make sure that virtual assistant is consistently posting great content on all of those platforms for them. So that's really a strategy where you have inbound leads. People start to find your content and they start to reach out to you. So the other strategy that we have is we have virtual assistants who get our clients booked on podcasts. So for example, Joy, my virtual assistant booked this, so she was the one that was back and forth with you or with your team. She got everything set up. And we have a really detailed process of how it's done. So it's consistently getting done week after week the same way. Or the other day, I had a host reach out to me and said, I'm sick today. I have to reschedule. So I shot her an email back and said, no problem. Our team will take care of it. And then I just forwarded that email to Bea and she took care of rescheduling it. So it's nice to have someone, again, helping you get interviewed on podcasts. So now you're getting in front of other people's audiences, which is pretty amazing because it's a great way to build your brand and your authority, as well as the know, like, and trust.
Yes, I love this so much. And before we started recording, I told you, and I'm going to say now on air, I feel like I need your service. Like I'm at the point where I want to scale, I want to grow, and this is just right on time for me. I want to be on podcast to get my message out there. And I know the power of this because 2 weeks ago, I think I was on a YouTube channel and I listened to one of your episodes where you spoke with Kathy and she was talking about creating your AI twin.
Yes.
I clicked on the link, went to her workshop, lo and behold, paid her, right, to be in that workshop. So this strategy works. And the podcast episode you did with Kathy, I think was in April, a few months
Yes.
back. So
Yes.
YouTube is very powerful that way that, like you said, SEO, you're on the platform is not Instagram Reels that just goes off after 24 hours. And so you can keep getting leads months and even years to come. So I like that so much. So then tell us about how you can help people. So for example, someone like me is listening to us now and they're like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I need. Tell us, Christine, what are the next steps?
Yeah. So if you wanted to work with us, first of all, we have a free guide. It's called Double Your Income with a Marketing Virtual Assistant. And you can find that at our website, which is Six Figure Business Coaching. So you can start there. There's also links on our website if you want to book a call to have a conversation with me. But we basically have two different programs as of at this time. The first one with the Marketing VA Advantage. In that program, we actually interview the virtual assistants. We vet them. They have to go through a training portal with us. We put them into a paid internship. So they actually work for us for a couple of months because we want to make sure that they are skilled at video editing, that they are fantastic at graphic design, that they're willing to follow all of our standard operating procedures because we're really big on having structure. You lead people, you manage tasks. And that's where having a project management software and having really solid SOPs created is powerful. So we train the virtual assistants on all of those things. And then what we do with our client is we work with them on their content strategy. So maybe that's their keywords, their titles, figuring out what type of content they want to create. Would they rather do an interview style podcast? Would they prefer to do talking head style videos? So we really talk to them about their strategy. And then we also work on their strategy for lead magnets, funnels, and things like that as well. And then once they're ready to start creating content, we usually encourage them to have a couple of videos ready to go. And then we pair them with a virtual assistant. Now, this is where it gets really, it gets a little interesting. I think people have a little bit of a hard time with it. We're not a marketing agency and we're not an outsourcing agency. And what I mean by that is when we pair you, like if you're ready to hire your virtual assistant, Joy, I would introduce you to 3 different people and you're not interviewing them because they've already been through a paid internship. So we know they're 100% qualified to do the job for you. But what I want is I want you to find somebody that you feel like you connect with. So maybe that person has the, one of our clients, she's a dietitian here in the US and her virtual assistant is a dietitian in the Philippines. So they both have this passion for healthy lifestyle and eating. So sometimes it's that they have the same interest you have or a passion around what you do in your business, or sometimes your personality just clicks, right? So we want to make sure that you have the right person on your team. And the goal is to have them on your team for a very long time. Because once they know all of your brand colors and your fonts, and they know exactly what you want your content to look like, then it gets easier and easier with each video to the point where eventually, hopefully you won't have any edits to give them. So things are just coming along quite nicely. So that's really one of our programs. And, we do talk about cultural differences. We train the virtual assistants on cultural differences and we train our clients on cultural differences. But what happens is rather than paying an agency who's going to mark up that virtual assistant's labor, that virtual assistant comes to work directly for you. So there's no markup on their labor, which makes it really, really affordable for our clients to have a virtual assistant and then to start to build that team. And we often see that as once they get that first person in and they start working on their marketing and they really dial in that messaging, then they're ready to bring on another team member. So it's exciting.
Yes, my next question was going to be on longevity, but you answered that already. Because many times when we hire VAs, I've hired about 2 VAs for lead gen. Many times when we hire VAs ourselves, because these VAs are working for different clients, it doesn't feel to them like they have longevity for their jobs. So I like that you put them through a paid internship. And so those VAs have kind of a sense of stability. I don't want to say stability, but they have a sense of, oh, I'm in this for the long run. And for business owners who are heart centered, mission driven, this is not just a one time deal. This is for example, for me, my business is my lifetime. Like, this is what I want to do into retirement, right?
Right.
So I want that structure, that I have VAs who are able to help me build my brand, build my business, and take me to the next level. So I like that so much.
Yeah,
So
we do. I'm sorry. We do focus a lot with that on the interviewing process, but we also focus a lot on coaching our clients around that. So, a lot of times people treat their virtual assistant like, oh, that's just somebody halfway around the world. I'm going to throw some task at them. We have a whole process that we teach our client of how to bring that person on and treat them like a team member, and how to
mm,
help them grow their skills so that they can evolve with your business. So it's a lot more that goes into it, but we have clients that have had their virtual assistants, over 5 years now. And so that's the goal, is to have that longevity. And a lot of times what happens is when they hire their next person, that first person manages them. So there's this
mm,
whole structure around building a team that has really strong core values. They want to be with the business for a long time. They believe in your mission and your values. And then that helps you to continue to grow your business with people who are very committed to you. And, our clients are very generous. They give paid vacations. They give birthdays off. They give holiday bonuses. They'll give clients bonus. They'll give virtual assistants bonuses if they've had a really successful launch. So they're really getting this amazing buy-in from their virtual assistant. And we've had clients who are excited because their virtual assistant was able to buy a house, right? So they feel really proud that they're able to help this person change their lives. And I was actually talking to one of our virtual assistants just a few months back, and she had said she was getting one to buy an air conditioning for the house. And so a couple months later, I knew that was one of her goals. I said, hey, did you ever buy that air conditioner? And she said, I didn't just buy one, I bought two. So now there's an AC in my room, there's an AC in my parents' room. And I was also able to buy a generator. And she said, I never thought I would get to the point where I could afford one air conditioner, most less
mm.
two, and then a generator. So I feel like we have a passion, not just to help our clients, but to also help these fabulous people halfway around the world who are committed to helping all of us grow our businesses.
Yes, I like that point because a couple of episodes ago I touched on it and I said the reason why it's so imperative for us to exploit our potential is because we being successful has a ripple effect, right? So when I grow my business to multiple six figures and seven figures, it is going to be ripple effect all over the world. Wherever I hire people, I'm able to create wealth for a lot more people as we go. So I like that point so much. A quick question, Kirsten. How do you ensure quality? What I mean is, for example, I've hired VAs and I could tell they are working for so many other clients and they are being stretched so thin. How do you ensure quality for the value of VA provides for business owners?
Sure. Well, Jeannie and I started outsourcing. It's been a little over 16 years now. And we like to joke and say, if it could be done wrong, we did it wrong, right?
Mm,
So we were taken advantage of. There were a lot of places where, we're probably super crappy bosses because we didn't have a good onboarding process, or we didn't have a good, you know, SOPs created so that we had a good structure. So we really feel like we made all the mistakes that were possible to be made. And what happened though is we really got to realize that, like, there's two sides to this coin. So just like
mm,
we've had bad experiences with virtual assistants, we know for a fact that there's virtual assistants who have clients who cuss at them, clients who don't pay them, clients who expect them to read their minds. So we know that they've also had bad experiences. So our mission was to mitigate that and find ways to do that through education. So a lot of it has to do with how our interviewing process works, and then how we actually train the virtual assistants once they come on with us, and then also how we have our clients interact with them. So it really is a two-way street. So it's getting both parties on the same page. Some of our clients, if they're hiring a virtual assistant, say for 20 hours a week, that person may have a full-time job, or they may be a student. Okay. But they're usually not working for a bunch of different clients. So that's one of the things we're looking for. We're looking for virtual assistants who are definitely not working for an agency. And in general, I'm happy with them to be a student. I'm happy if they have a full-time like teaching job or nursing job, but I really don't want them being distracted working for dozens of different clients. And most of them don't want to. So that's the other thing, is by providing a stable job, they don't have to.
Awesome, awesome. I know I'm nearing time, but I want to quickly talk about the podcast VA, the other program you have.
Sure.
So how do you train your VA to pitch your clients on podcasts that are aligned with their niche, their skills, and what the kind of clients they want to attract?
Sure. So that program is a little bit different. So we don't actually hire those virtual assistants. We actually teach our client how to hire them, because hiring for that role is a lot easier than hiring for a marketing VA, because that's a lot of skills. That's editing, audio editing, graphic design, understanding social media platforms, being great with technology for funnels. So that's a whole different skill set. So when we're hiring for someone, when we're helping our client hire someone for that job, we're looking for someone who has the hard and the soft skill set to do that job. And then we want our client, we want them to really feel like the person that they hire is someone that they connect with. So we give
Mm,
our clients the job description, the job post, all of the interview questions. We have a very detailed process that's done for our clients. And then our client goes through the process of interviewing and hiring the person that they feel most comfortable with. We then take that virtual assistant and we put them through our training process on how our virtual assistants get us booked on podcasts. But it's also a two-way street. We're also coaching our client, because sometimes it's helping our clients understand what are the right podcasts for you to go on. Do you want to go, one of the things we talk about is, if you haven't been on a lot of podcasts, you probably don't want to go on your dream podcast as your very first podcast interview, right?
yeah,
Because you would be
yeah.
so nervous, you'd probably blow it. So we talk to our clients a lot about going for some, I hate to say it, low hanging fruit. Some podcasts that are easier to get on. Just start to get comfortable with how you share your stories and how you interact with the host. And, we do a lot of coaching around what does it take to be a good guest, so that we
Mm,
talk a lot about those things. So with that process, we still train our clients' virtual assistants, and then we really help them through our standard operating procedures and our complete workflows to make sure that virtual assistant is doing the same thing day in and day out to continuously get you booked on the right podcast.
awesome, awesome. So for listeners are also interested in that podcast option, what website do they need to go to?
Again, they can just go to sixfigurebusinesscoaching.com, and there's
Okay.
a link there to book a call with me. We generally speak with all of our clients. And the reason for that is, in order for us to bring someone on, because it is, again, I keep going back to, it's a two-way street, or two sides of a coin. We want to make sure that our clients know exactly what they're going to learn and how we're going to do that with them. And then we want to make sure they have clear expectations of what the virtual assistant does do and doesn't do, because it really is a partnership, right? It's not just
Mm,
you throwing a bunch of tasks at someone. It's about you doing your part of the job so that they can do their part of the job. And so for some clients, it's helping them really understand, like, if you don't understand what podcast you want to go on or what topics you want to talk about on those podcasts, we have to get that dialed in with you first before we can teach your
mm.
virtual assistant what those categories are. So it really is a part of us coaching our clients and helping them with a strategy, and then training their virtual assistant for them.
Awesome. I know we're almost at time, but before we go, I want you to tell us about your podcast, the Six Figure Business Coaching Podcast.
Yes, yes. So we actually, Joy, we actually have two podcasts. The first one is Six Figure Business Mastery. And that podcast is about 20 minutes long. And we bring people on to interview them about things that can help business owners. And usually the goal of that podcast is for that guest to give the audience like 3 actionable steps, or 30 things that they could really think about doing to, say, improve their LinkedIn profile, or to manage their finances better, or to change their mindset around something. So it's very powerful and very targeted with helpful information. And then we have a second podcast, which we just launched, which is called Blueprints for Brilliance Coaching Insights. And that's where we interview coaches and we're talking to them about their journey. Why did you become a coach? And then,
Mm.
talking to them about what they have experienced and went really well, and what they've done that's made them successful. And so we're just having a great conversation with them about what it's like to be building a very successful coaching practice.
So that's Blueprint for Brilliance.
Yes, Coaching Insights.
Coaching Insight. Okay. So, listeners, I'm going to have all of those links in the show notes if you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you're watching on YouTube, all the links will be in the description. Kirsten also has a YouTube channel. I'm going to add the YouTube channel as well, because I watched a few of your videos and I was very impressed. I was very inspired. So I want the listeners to also take advantage of that.
Thank Thank you. I appreciate that.
Awesome. It's been so nice having this conversation with you. Before you go, I know I've said that many times. What last words do you have for our listeners?
I really think the thing that I love seeing happen with our clients is the fact that they realize that they deserve to have support in their business. So things that
Mm,
I wasn't expecting was I was not expecting to hear our clients say things like, I feel like a real business owner now. Or
mm,
now that I have all of this help in my business, I have a bigger dream and bigger goals. Or, I didn't realize how mean I was and how much I was beating myself up every day because I couldn't get everything done. And the reality was, I couldn't have done it all ever. So getting them to understand that they really do deserve support. You deserve support in your business, and it really changes everything, in particular your mindset.
awesome. Thank you so much, Kirsten. It's been a pleasure having you on this podcast. Listeners, I'll try my very best to bring Kirsten back because we have a lot to learn. Thank you so much. Wow. That was such an amazing episode. I thoroughly enjoyed myself and I learned a lot from Kirsten. If this podcast episode inspired or encouraged you in any way, please consider leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts. And if you're watching on YouTube, please give us a subscribe, a thumbs up, and a comment. It goes a very long way in helping our show get in front of new people. Thank you so much. I hope you have yourself a very fabulous day. Sending you lots of love and light.